Mark, I really want to thank you for this really insightful, really heartwarming episode. I really want to thank you for being honest, open, and vulnerable. I know you struggle sometimes with sharing
Mm.
and really you feel the emotions coming up, but even though you still are being here, showing your true authentic self and really want to help people. And yeah, again, I have so much respect for you just being here and do the things that you do. So don't give up and keep on doing the things that you're doing.
Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate you saying that, and I'm honored to be a guest on your podcast.
Welcome to the How to Heart Show, helping men reconnect to the heart and empower others as the leaders they were born to be. I'm Vincent Hazenboom. My mission is to help you speak your truth, own your authenticity, and step into your power. The world needs the raw and authentic man right now. Join us if you're ready to make a change. Hey, what's up, Lions, and welcome to the How to Heart Show. Today, I'm with a really amazing guest. I'm here with Mark Larsen, and we did an episode in the past, and I really want to bring him on the show. So I'm really looking forward to have Mark on the show because we had a really interesting conversation in his episode, and now I want to return the favor and do an episode with him. So, Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you for having me on your show. I love being your guest, and we had a great time. In fact, every time we've ever talked, we've had a great conversation. So I look forward to this.
Yeah, me too. What I like is that we're on the same page. That's really cool to be connected with same people that have the same mentality and want to achieve the same goals or similar goals, but still want to, yeah, change their lives. So I think that's also a good jump for us to start. So, Mark, who are you? Can you share in a nutshell who you are?
Mark Larsen. I use my middle name because there's so many other Mark Larsens around the world that they get us confused. I know there's 300 of us in the United States, but actually I started doing podcasting 3.5 years ago. But before that, actually I was a handyman, and my first few episodes were called Handyman for Your Life, and then about 10 shows in approximately, I changed it to Dreamcatcher. But I just saw so many people that weren't getting their dreams, and that's why I started the podcast. But no, I live with my wife out in central Nebraska. We have probably more turkeys, deer than we do people around here. We have actually 50. I have the window shut because there's 52 turkeys that usually would want to join in. They're almost pets, but yeah, I just been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. I've always liked having my own businesses, and this one has really taken off. I mean, if you'd have told me 4 years ago that I was going to do a podcast, I would have told you you were crazy because I wasn't one that talked a lot. And but yeah, look at here we are. I was telling you earlier, we just celebrated the 200th episode on Friday. So but yeah, I'm just out to help people get their dreams. You and I are both, in that where we're trying to help ourselves plus help other people realize what's possible. And that's kind of what I do. That's why I get up every day so I can motivate, inspire people to live their best life. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, I guess.
Cool. What I really want to dive into for the name, the Dreamcatcher. What was the reason for you to use that name? It's really cool.
Hmm, thank you. Like I said, it was not. It was actually handyman, and that was just kind of a carryover from the previous job, and it was in business. But I just had so many people, and that were very conservative here. And I was talking to people with their dreams that they had never gotten, and they were getting to the point that they were wanting to retire, and they weren't going to be able to because they hadn't had enough money saved or whatever. And it was always those some days, and people were just not catching the dreams. Everybody, I believe, has dreams when I believe everybody has dreams, and most of them weren't going to be able to do it. So I went, or didn't think it was possible. And I
Mhm.
just wanted to show people that it is possible. It's not easy, but nothing really worthwhile is easy. It's a journey, kind of like we know journeys, and it's just I want people to realize that you need to do it today. At least start today in catching your dreams and how it's possible. And that's how I got on Dreamcatcher, because I want people more than just a small amount of people. I want everybody to be able to catch their dreams. So that's where the name came from.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because yes, also like people like you want to catch your dreams, but we're so afraid to go after our dreams. So it's pretty cool that you use that name. But Mark, you also mentioned that you are like really shy and probably also introverted. So what happened? What happened in your life that you became this person and now you want to change people's lives?
I was one of those in school. I was bullied. I was mentally bullied. I was
Mm.
never physically bullied. And I thought if I didn't say anything, I wouldn't get bullied. Didn't work that way. But so I was very, very quiet. I mean, I actually in high school won an award in school for being the quietest in school. I didn't talk. And but I was getting really fed up. I didn't like the way my life. I didn't like my life. I didn't like me either. And I just thought, something has to change. So I was going to college, and I just kind of made the decision, try and get out of my shell. Try to do a different life, and I did that first week. I was totally 180 from who I was in high school to college. I mean, I hadn't done anything like this. I have enjoyed a fraternity the first week in college, and which very awesome. It wasn't your traditional fraternity, at least with the vision that I have had of a fraternity. But it just like I was getting so I hated myself, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I just it was just frustration. It's just like I knew I could do better, but I was scared, to scared to put myself out there, show who I really was, and that fear, which is after all these decades later, is still there. It comes back occasionally, and but I knew I had to make a change. I knew I had more. There was just something there that was calling me, and college was a start, but I was still pretty quiet in college too. Compared to high school, I was quite vocal but very quiet, and then it's just been kind of a journey. Worked for some companies where I had to start talking, because the one company had like 60 people underneath me, so I better be talking because I ended up being an assistant manager, and I just knew I had more. There was that calling, that thing, that feeling that it's just like I'm meant for more on this life than just being quiet in high school, being a manager, which was not for me. And it just, I was so unhappy. I wanted to be happy, and I was not happy. And I think my wife helped a lot on that, because we met in college. And to show you how shy I was, she asked me. I didn't ask her to marry me. She's like, he's never going to get around to it, and she probably was right. So, and it's like, and I'm glad I said yes. But yeah, but I found my voice, and now you can't hardly shut me up. It just I just maybe all those years where I didn't is bottled up, and I just want to get it out to the world. And like we talked, I just want to help the world. And people are surprised that after being bullied, and some of the stuff was terrible mentally, and why I want to help people, that I don't help, that I dislike people, but I don't. I love people, and people are surprised that after all I went through with people, that I do. But I truly do want to help people, and I love people. I just love talking to people. Yeah. So that's kind of where that came from. But yeah, I was very quiet at one time.
Yeah, I can really relate with that as well because I've been also really shy and introverted. And it was for me also with bullying. I've been bullied so much and I started to doubt myself. The self esteem was completely gone. I didn't see any value in myself. I felt a nobody. So, how was it for you, Mark, once you been bullied so much? What happened to you?
Oh, they would just there was things that were around school that they would, and and of course I would come to school not knowing these rumors had started, so everybody would walk, on the other side of the hallway, or they'd stay away from me, and they just made sure that I was kind of that person all by myself. I was the outcast, and they were going to make sure I knew that, and at that age, that really has an effect on you. It was terrible. In fact, even thinking about it still, I guess I haven't totally dealt with it, because it makes me kind of want to cry, because I mean, it was terrible. And it would go on for that particular maybe 1 or 2 weeks where people would treat me that way. Nobody talked to me. I had one friend. It just, Not a place I ever want to go back to. I think I'm maybe for the lesson, but I would not want to go through that again. And I feel for anybody going through it. And it sounds like you've gone through maybe something similar.
Yeah, I've been bullied a lot, but it was also for me like a big trauma because I couldn't really place it. I was also I remember I was talking at school that I was sometimes when we need to go to the bathroom, sometimes there's a clottage. So we need to open a well and I we need to shove it out. And I told that at school, and then a guy was like, "Oh, you're a shit digger." And everybody started to laughing, and I was just like, what's happening here? I'm just telling
Mm-hmm.
you a story, and now you're just gonna make fun of me. And I've been hearing that constantly, and been bullied. It was like I didn't go to school. I didn't go to school those days. I was crying so much, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just everybody was making fun of me once, but while I was just telling a story. So that was a big impact on me, and also I don't know. I was always different. I was always the black sheep. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
they saw something in me that they didn't see in themselves, and they just made fun of me. So yeah,
Yeah.
Mark, I know how it is. How bullying a big impact on people.
Mm-hmm.
And for
It
me,
is.
my self-esteem was destroyed. I was so afraid to talk to people and to do things. It was just the effect was that I stayed at home. I didn't go out
Mm-hmm.
or meet people
Wow.
or date with women because of the fear. The fear was
Mm-hmm.
growing and growing and growing.
Yeah. No, I hear you, and that was that. I can understand why you stayed home. I mean, I wanted to, but my parents, and then I rode a bus, school bus, for like 45 minutes each way because we're out in the middle of nowhere, and then even there it would continue on. You know, they would try and like they were going to punch me, and then they punch right next to the seat or something, and just intimidation things. And so I can very much understand you wanting to stay home. It's not a great place to be, that's for sure. So.
No, and also for and also for the people who are listening to this and they being bullied, always talk about it because I didn't talk about it. I didn't express the people that were hurting me, like not physically but mentally and mental abuse, and I didn't talk about it. I just kept it all in, and that was the mistake that I did. That I didn't talk to people about it, even though it was shameful, or even though it's difficult to talk about. You still need to talk about it. So, what's your opinion about it, Mark?
You do, and I did the same thing. I didn't want anybody in my family involved. I didn't want my parents trying to make it better or anything because I thought it probably would make it maybe worse. So I mean, I didn't go out for sports. I didn't do anything. I actually did go out. I like to sing, so I did go into like a vocal choir, and that was all right because I was kind of by myself. You know, I could sing with the group, but I was not really anybody intimidating there or doing anything. But yeah, you do need to let people know. If I had to go with somebody going through this right now, I would definitely tell them, you know, it may be one of the hardest things you do, but let your parents, let whoever, somebody know. And because what is it? A burden shared is halved, or something like that. I wish I'd have known that then. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's always good to talk about. That's what I've learned. If you have something on your chest or on your heart, you need to talk about it. It's so
Mhm,
important because I was always this to put it everything inside of myself until I just exploded, until it just
mhm.
broke down, and you put so much burden, so much stress on yourself. So
You
that's
do.
really what I want to add. That you, yeah, don't keep it inside of yourself. Always talk about it. And yeah, even though if you go to sports, you go to boxing or
Hmm.
working out, even though to make yourself physical stronger, you can handle more. So that's the advice that I can give. Always talk about it and
Yeah.
work on yourself.
Yes.
And
And
don't take it personal.
true. Yeah. It easier said than done, but yes.
Absolutely.
And you know, at high school to college, that I just finally had it just burst. You know, held it in so long, and it was just going to come out no matter what. But yeah, it's
True.
I feel for anybody going through that.
Absolutely. So Mark, let's go to a different direction. So
Okay.
you told me that you made a 180 degree change. So what happened? So what was the change?
The change was I started believing in myself. You know, I had no confidence. I had not believing in myself at all. And the strange thing is, I'd had people over the years saying, you know, it's like, really, you should do this. And I did get that even when I was singing in choir. And it's just like, you really should, because I'm not too bad of a singer, but I didn't believe it. I didn't believe anything that people said that was good. I only believed the negative. At that 180 change, I started believing that, maybe I have got something here. Maybe I do have something to add to the world. I still struggle with that because I have imposter syndrome quite a lot, where I don't think it's like with my podcast or being on this podcast, it's like, why would anybody want to listen to me? It's just like, yes, they do. I have to almost manually tell myself that, yes, they would want to listen to you. And I'm getting there, but the 180 is still, we're still going around to the 180, but it's getting confidence. It's doing this kind of thing, because it wouldn't have been very many years ago. I'd have been so intimidated to do this that I probably would have been sick beforehand. It just is like, but I found the more you do it, the more you kind of build up confidence, and just know that, yeah, you have stuff to give to the world. And what I have found is everybody's going through something, and be kind, because everybody is going through something. And a lot of times those people, I think, that were bullying me, I don't know if it was their background or that's the way they coped. I even have compassion for them now. And that's a 180 right there, because I did not at the time. I dislike them greatly. In fact, there's a few of them I'm even friends with now, which I would have never, ever guessed that would be the case. So, but yeah, the 180 has been, maybe the first part of the 180 was pretty quick, but the last part of the 180 has been kind of slow. It's definitely been challenging at times, and depends on the day. Some days I'm very, very, very outgoing and it's easy. And other days it's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I want to kind of go backwards. Sometimes crawl into, actually, I just sometimes want to stay home and do nothing, and just kind of chill. But yeah, that's kind of the 180. The 180 is going slow, but it's getting there to where I want to be. That's one thing also. I have a vision on what I want to be now, where I didn't when I was younger. I definitely have a vision on that. So that's kind of where I'm at on that.
Yeah, and what I really noticed that we have similar things. Even though when you interviewed me, I didn't feel like there's so much of, how can I say, that we were connected, but I didn't have so much similarity with each other where we now. But now I feel like there's so much that we have in common. Also, the bullying with
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome and other things. But the imposter syndrome, I had exactly the same thing, and it really comes back to the traumas that we had, and now we need to heal them, and then, like you
Yes.
said, build the confidence to doing it. But for
Yeah.
me, it was the same. Once I wanted to start this podcast, the first thing that came up to me: will people listen to me?
Hmm.
Will people? Is it important what I tell them? Will people take the advice that I tell them? So all these things in my mind, and I postponed the podcast for months and months and months. I wanted everything perfect. I think you also had it as well. The
Hmm.
perfect, everything make perfect so you don't
Yep.
make mistakes.
Exactly.
It was so hard. Just you want to move forward, but still you make excuses not to take any action. So
Hmm.
how was it for you, Mark?
Oh, it was exactly that way. I was very good at making excuses. Yeah, it's like, well, when I got started doing the podcast, I didn't have the right mic, I didn't have the right headphones, I didn't have the right software. There was always something that I was postponing. Whatever I would do, on doing this kind of social media thing, or even doing Facebook, or like we were talking beforehand, TikTok. I'm very good at putting it off. It's like, oh, I'll just do that tomorrow, and maybe not. But it's just, yeah, I very much, and now I'm just to the mindset. I got to do it now. I have to push myself, but I have to do it now. And when I look back on it, I'm glad I do push myself. But to push myself sometimes is just, takes every. So, but no, it definitely, it's good. I'm very good at making excuses. Less than I was when I was younger, but I'm still there. There's just like the other day, I had a gentleman, I was rewriting my bio. And, I found it really hard to rewrite my bio. It was very hard. So I put that off for days. It's like, well, I'll do that tomorrow. And there was something about that. I don't know. It made me think, I guess, about my life and more, and it just made it tough. And finally, my wife, Cheryl, and I did it on Sunday. Yeah, actually, yesterday. And it's just like, it was easier when she was helping me, but it's just, I had it, I was easy to put that off. And I I'm still not for sure why I had problems writing that, because it's stuff that I've done, but I'm still doing the imposter syndrome. The stuff that I've, like, coming up with 200 episodes of the podcast. It's just like, that can't be me. It's just, and then I think, yes, it is you, but it's still, it goes back and forth depending on the moment in the day. Can be very interesting at times.
Yeah, and what do you think it was causing it that you have the imposter syndrome and really doing all these things to push yourself on the side? Is it really you afraid to be successful or fear of failure?
Both. I very rarely ever, pretty much, I would have done anything not to fail. I would do, if I had to work 24/7, I would not fail, just not to do it. And then the success thing is very, very difficult for me to. I want the success. I run it more than anything else. I want to be up there and do this. But then I think, then that little voice comes back in. It's like, well, that little high school voice. It's like, well, you're not really worth anything. It goes back to, all that again. And it's like, yes, I am. I am, somebody that can do this. I am doing this. And, but it's just, I don't understand why after this many years that it still is in my head, where it's like, yes, I am doing this. Even the other day when I told you I got introduced as a TikToker at the Red Cross I mean, that was like, this is really odd. You got to have, like, you must have the wrong person. That's the first thing I thought. And no, she was pretty sure she had the right person, but she definitely introduced me to the whole place, which was, I guess, awesome. But it was uncomfortable too. Yeah, I'm just not to the point where I have that, I guess, cocky. I've never been that way. Where people, maybe an ego. My ego was so pushed down that I don't have any ego. Maybe a little ego, but not much. Because I see these people that are really confident and they go out and they, take charge and do it. I admire them for that, but I am not to that point yet. Definitely not to that point. I just keep on doing it. And I pray one day that I will get to that point where I don't even know about being cocky or something like that, but being confident all the time. And confidence is better, but still has a long ways to go. So far.
Yeah, I can relate to that also with being confident. But it's actually funny because you can be confident all the time that you want, but fear will always kick in. So I think you have to find a balance with being confident and also be vulnerable. It's also really important, like, okay, I want to be confident, but today I don't feel confident at all. I think it's also really important also to
Yeah.
accept that.
Hmm. I would
So I think
agree.
that's, yeah, you can always not always be confident. There's maybe some areas that you never done before. So it's a bit like a slippery slope. You need to be checking things out and see how it goes. Also with the podcast. In the beginning, you need to learn the editing. You need to the first videos are absolute trash. It's horrible.
Yes.
Nobody wants to see it. But
Yep.
once you do it more and more, you're gonna get easier. It's
True.
that's what I've seen. It's in the
Yeah.
beginning it's difficult, but then you learn the skill set to build it. So I
Yep.
think it's really, you don't
Yep.
have to be confident all the time. Just like
Yep.
you said, taking action. I think
Yep.
that's really, really important.
Yep. And I look at the first ones of my podcast, and it's like, I wouldn't even probably recognize me. Yeah, I was just,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, so different than what I am now. For one thing, I was scared to death to do it. I was just like, and it's just like, and I was doing it recording. It wasn't even live. And it's like, why would this intimidate me so much? But I had the deer in the headlight look, kind of. It was just like, oh my gosh. But that is one thing I have become much more confident doing this. Still intimidates me a little bit, but not too bad. But yeah, like you say, take action. It's the only way you can really move forward. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So Mark, I want to go a bit to the school age and also with your
Yep.
sweetheart. So how was it for you to be in love and having a relationship? Because I remember the first time that I was in love, I was like, wow, amazing. But once my heart got broken, I was like, oh, I don't want to experience this anymore.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. And that was one thing I really, in high school, I really didn't have a girlfriend because I was too scared to have a girlfriend. But in college, thankfully for Cheryl, that I had a girlfriend. Actually, it was God, I believe, because she was the roommate of somebody I knew from Minden, my hometown. And I still remember the day I walked into the dorm room and she was back there. She loves to do art projects, and she was back there doing one, and I had never met her before. and it ended up that her grandparents actually lived in my hometown, and she'd been in my hometown growing up all those years when she came back from summer to visit her grandparents. It was awesome because Cheryl and we hit it off immediately, and she was similar on her. She was kind of bullied in school too. She was from a huge school. She was out in the Front Range of Colorado, and she had like 500 people in her class, and so she could relate a little bit with me. But it was awesome. I mean, it was just we spent all the time together. I even went back one summer and spent a week with her parents and her, and and it was funny because her mom came in when Cheryl wasn't there, and she's like, "You do know Cheryl really likes you a lot." It's like I'm glad you're telling me that because I am kind of dense on this stuff. And no, we dated for a lot of years, and then she had moved to different parts of the United States, and then finally, because I had been in Dallas, Texas, working, and she came down to see me there, and I thought she's pretty serious about this. It was, and we had a great time. And then we went our separate ways again with our jobs. Came back to here in Nebraska, where I actually grew up, and then she moved here. Back, she'd gone to Colorado, moved here, and she almost needed to take a sledgehammer over my head to figure or something. It's like, get this, It's just like I was dense, but no, she's great. I mean, we've been married a lot of years now, a lot of decades, and been through a lot of things. She's we balance each other out well because she's more. I'm more positive now, and she's more negative. It was great having a girlfriend in college. It was just so nice. I mean, it was just like I got a girlfriend in college. I got a girlfriend. Period. So, but it was so awesome, and it's still awesome. So glad that she asked me to marry her. So, because we probably still wouldn't be married. She probably would have gone back to Colorado after a while. I think she'd have given up on me. But no, she's so understanding. She's so hard worker. Very blessed. But yeah, it was great having a girlfriend. It was just awesome. I was probably beaming, I just, but
She
it was
really helped you a lot then also with your insecurities.
very much. Yep, she did. And she spent a lot of time with me. Very understanding, very hands off, on if I needed, maybe a push or something, she would
Mhm.
help me out there. But otherwise, she kind of kept away and let me kind of struggle through the process, trying to, I guess, learn how to be on my own. She's very good and still is. And we've been through a lot together. I mean, she's had cancer 2 times, and it's been a great relationship. I mean, I look forward to many more years. But no, I mean, like I said, God. I may not have had a girlfriend all those years, but He gave me the best one when I finally did. So
That's awesome. I'm really, really happy for you guys that you found
thank
each
you.
other.
No, it's very good.
So, Mark, the thing that I want to go into is also the dark side of the world because I also know that you are a man of faith and
Hmm.
also that you know about the hidden agenda. So, how
Yeah.
was it for you understanding the darkness of the world? Because it had a huge impact on me. I struggled a lot understanding how toxic and
Yeah. Yeah.
evil this world literally is. So, how was it for you, Mark?
It was because I was sheltered. I mean, where I grew up here is very sheltered. I mean, Central Nebraska, you're pretty sheltered from the world, and there's a lot of times I'm glad that I am. It's a good place, and I really spiritual. All that has been part of my life, but it has really become my life in the last year. I knew that evil existed, that it existed to the depths it does in the world. It's I know good and evil have to, and I just have to have faith that God knows He knows what's going on, and I just have to have faith that He's got a plan, and I think He's got a plan in you and me both to work towards the evil. Some of the evil is just how it can be so evil. I just like the school shootings we have so much of in the United States. How you can be so evil just to open fire on these people, or we've run over people, or just blatantly have no conscience. Or people on the homeless on the street where they take all their stuff. They're struggling anyway, but rob them there, and it just it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart greatly, and that's another reason why I want to do what I do, because I want to put the positive out there. I want to be the balance as much as I can be doing what I do to put positivity out there to make people like, yeah, evil's out there, definitely. There's also the good side, and we need to gravitate towards that. Yeah, I the evil just, it makes me speechless. It's terrible. I just don't know how you ever get to that point. I get so worked up on that because it is so stuff that goes on, and I mean, I just don't know how people do it. I just don't know how they can be that way, and I'm glad I'm not that way. But it's just, and even, and I know bullying, is, I think, evil, but it's part of growing up, I believe, too. But sometimes it borders on not, it borders on a little bit of evil. I guess I grew up with two-parent home. I didn't see a lot of it, so I'm blessed that way. I just wonder the path that these people came into evil, and just like the other day where Trump was shot, and the people were, instead of being concerned about, that he was almost killed, were glad, they were rooting for the person shooting him. They were hoping that he would be shot. And it's like, even if you don't agree on Trump, how can you say that to another human being? I mean, I don't know how you can get to that point. I mean, even if I disliked Biden that much, I would say it's terrible that he got shot or almost killed. And we're so much that way, and maybe it is where you're at, so polarized in the United States right now, which is really bad. We can't agree to disagree, that's for sure anymore. It seems like, and I think that the polarization, I think, brings more evil because things that people would maybe not have done, we don't come together and talk it out. But no, the evil just, I think about it daily, sometimes more than that, multi times daily. What I can do to put out something positive. I just want to be positive. I just want to put something out there to show people that it's not all that way, and especially the kids. I really do. It's just like some of these kids that, I don't know why some parents have kids, and some kids, single family, but some of these kids are on their own. They raise themselves. My wife used to work at a daycare, and some of the kids were dropped off every day, even when their parents weren't working. And it's like, how could you do that with your own child? I find that a form of evil. It's just like, this is your responsibility. This is your child. And what you're doing, it's like you're showing that child that they don't mean anything to you. No, I don't know. That's one thing I'm working on too. Anyway, I mean, I've thought about doing a nonprofit. Some all the ways I can do to make counteract evil. Can you tell it had an influence on me? I just want to do everything I can to squash evil. I don't know if there's ever a way to get evil gone from this planet, but at least maybe get positivity on the side that's a little stronger, a lot stronger than evil. So yeah, evil definitely, especially the first time I really discovered evil was traumatic. It was very traumatic.
Yeah, but even though I like that you want to bring the positivity, because it's true what you said. There's a lot of how we treat each other. It's like if somebody has a better status, we're gonna look down on other people,
Yeah.
or they want to rule over people because they think they have a higher class, a higher ruling class. So
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous how we look at
It
each
is.
other. We're the same, even though if I see a drifter, I don't see this person as a low person.
Mm-mm.
We
I
can
know.
ask the story, what happened to this person or something else, but I don't see myself above him because he or she may not have a choice to be in a situation like that. Usually it is, but you don't know what's going to happen, so we're judging people about their appearance.
Yeah.
So I totally agree what you say, and it's always the thing that it's the fear. That's the fear. That's really the reason that people are judging other people for the fear, and it all goes back to trauma. We've all been traumatized,
Mm-hmm.
and society is making it worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
So yeah, for me, it's not so impactful as what you experienced, but for me, with the hidden agendas from the elite, it was like, whoa, this is crazy. I never knew about this, but once I learned about it, it was like, what
Yeah.
kind of world are we living here?
Mm-hmm.
Is this really life? Working the 9 to 5 until you die, and you
Yeah.
have done nothing with your life? I don't get it. I don't get it
I
why
don't
people
either.
are living like this. Just working for to make someone else rich. But
Yep. Yep. No.
it's really the yeah, the programming, I guess.
Yeah. No, it is. It was. It is. I mean, I was such a happy kid at home. I mean, I I love being home, and I was just that I became Mr. Christmas, and I still have that child in me, that innocent child, but it's been trying to be beaten down by the evil. But I'm not going to let it happen. I will not let it happen, one way or the other. So, uh, the world we live in.
Yeah, true. But what I really like about you, Mark, is how you change your life from really insecure, a lot of problems, a lot of trauma, how you change your life and how you've seen yourself in the past and how you've grown now. That's pretty cool. And it's pretty cool also what you mentioned with the podcast. When you record yourself, you're gonna see yourself grow. And this was for me also the feedback, how I saw my own videos back and how to improve myself. But I saw the climb of change and how I improve and how I've grown.
Mhm.
So that was for me really cool to see that. So how was it for
Mhm.
you, Mark? How you to see your own progress?
It is cool, and I don't even realize it until I go back and look at them, and it's like, my gosh, I've made so much progress. In fact, I talked to a gal yesterday who's wanting to start a podcast, and I told her it would be that way because she wanted everything perfect, and I said, basically, just start because it will not be anything like it is when you start. But yeah, it's almost comical when I look back at the first ones. It's just like, wow, what was I thinking or not thinking then? I was so regimented. I went, it was a perfectionist coming out of me again, too. I wanted everything perfect. And I wanted to edit. I wanted everything exactly the way. And of course, I wanted the guests to be, happy with what we did too. And it's definitely very much comical journey. It's just so, especially after doing this many podcasts, I can't imagine what another 100 will look like. I don't know. It'll be very interesting, and all this is changing so much too. I mean, it's just which is awesome, I think too. But yeah, it's I think it's always kind of cool to see yourself grow. Like I said earlier, it's still like I can't believe I'm really doing this, but then I'm doing this. This right here, I'm doing this. I'm talking to you clear across the world, and having a great conversation. And it's just like the young Mark would have been terrified, or I would have been one word answers. So I would have been very, very to the point. But yeah, I think it's awesome to see yourself grow and make progress.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember once I did the podcast, my confidence just skyrocketed to the roof. It was like, wow, I got this positive feedback and I keep doing it and doing it and doing it. It was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm trying to change people's lives. I
Mm-hmm.
put value into this world. But what happened to me was I was working so much. I was keep going and going and going. I wanted to give value. I wanted to keep giving value. But then I was so close to a burnout. So I said like I need to stop. I was just done.
Mm-hmm.
So that was for me my downfall that just wanted to keep going and I
Okay.
don't want to how can I say yeah, to see people that I don't want to give any more value. I just wanted to keep going, but then
Mm-hmm.
I just crashed and I said I need to take a break. I was close to a burnout. Did you have that experience as well?
Yeah, I do. And I still have to watch myself from burnout because I will just keep going and going. And no, you've been there, done that. You don't want to do that again. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to keep working. That's one thing. Cheryl and I both are kind of that way. Even when, I mean, for a while there, probably about not quite 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we had, because stuff we were doing wasn't working. So we had like 6 jobs because I was going to make it work no matter what. I was going to bring the money in. And we were basically doing it 24/7 and we were basically killing ourselves. There was no time. And that was one of the very first times Cheryl got cancer. That was a wake up call because it's just like, wow, anybody could get that, diagnosis. So that kind of told me it's like maybe you shouldn't do the burnout. Maybe you should take time to. And I felt guilt when I didn't do the burnout. Not when I was on the process of doing that. If I wasn't working, I was just like, you're gonna do this, and then if I'd stop or take a break, I would feel guilty. It's like you could be working more. I don't have that problem near as much, but my conscience is like you could be doing something right now. That's a hard thing to do because I'll wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like you could do this, this, and this right now. to get ready for the day. You could be doing that. By the time you would get up normally, you'd have almost that much done for the day. It's a challenge not to burn out and do, just continue working,
Yeah.
especially in today's world, because you can basically work almost 24/7 if you want to. Yeah. And I've seen people. I have a friend that burned out, and she did that probably 5 or 6 years ago. She's still not the same. She burned herself out, and I never really thought that was actually like burning yourself out. But she's different personality. She's just kind of a shallow shell of herself, and not the person that, because she was really pretty upbeat, and now she's just like whatever, just kind of get this life over with. I'm ready to be out of here, and that kind of was a wake up call too. And it's like I don't ever want to be that way. But yeah, burnout. I'm amazed some of these people don't burn out because, which I think some of it is show. On you go to Facebook and they're doing all this stuff, and it's like I don't believe you're doing all that stuff. Going to the gym and then they're really getting bulked up, and then they're working. They have so much they do, and it's no wonder they need Sunday Fun Day. It's just like life's too short. I have to tell myself to make sure I don't burn out, but life is too short. And especially the second time with Cheryl having advanced cancer, that was where God's like, "Are you going to get this?" It's just like because when Cheryl it was colon cancer and she had it everywhere except for her lungs. That I thought that time I thought I was going to lose her. That time it stuck. That really is just like, yeah, you got the message across to me. I need to not burn out. I need to take more time. I need to do stuff right now. And I guess that could go back to starting with Dreamcatcher too. But yeah, burning out would be easy to do in this day and age. That is for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we always want to push ourselves. We always want to go to
Mhm.
the next level. What can we do more? What can we achieve more?
Yep.
Well, for me, it was the same. I didn't want to let people down. I just want to keep going and bring value. But I was just like, why I'm doing this? I giving so much value. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. But I was all in the head. I was just
Mhm. Yeah.
wanted to achieve. I wanted to get something out of people. But it was like, no, I need to go back to the basics. I need to take things slower. I need to go back, rechange my podcast. I need to go start to the gym, take more time for myself,
Yes.
and then again start again. But it is not worth it to push yourself and keep going, because then you don't see what you can change. Because then I look back when I took the time off, it's like, okay, I can change this, I can look at this, I can finally do my workout, and then everything started to change. So we always think we want to keep going and push forward, but
Yep.
sometimes it's also good to take a few steps back,
It
right?
is. Yeah, it is to kind of see what's working and what's not working. So yeah, I
Exactly.
definitely agree with you. Although I've had where I start helping somebody or somebody resonates with me, it's like, oh, I like that feeling. Yeah, I just got to make sure I don't get back into that. It's just like, oh, I want to help everybody in the world here. So, and I do. Just know everybody. I just want everybody to not have to worry about food. And I mean, I hate seeing homeless people. I hate what goes on in Africa, and there's a lot of countries in this world that stuff's going on that I just hate to see. So that drives me towards wanting to go to burnout. It's like you can't help anybody if you can't help yourself. I mean, if you're doing that, so
Yeah, that's exactly what I had. I want to help people, but if I cannot take care of myself, I cannot help people. So that
yep.
was also for me to the wake up call for me. Just I need to take things slower and take a better care of myself, because then I can help more people. So that was really for me the wake up call. I need to start taking better care of myself. That was for
Mhm.
me really 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 important to understand.
Yep, I know what you mean there. I had kind of a wake up call too, and I had never really gone to the gym, never. And that was actually I had a very progressive doctor, and he said that was one thing that he thought would help. Was going to a gym and having a coach and stuff like that, which has actually worked. So I guess that was a negative that turned into a positive. It just and I love going to the gym. I love having
Yeah.
a coach. It's awesome. And I go to the local Y, and it's almost like a family. It's just so cool. I really like. I look forward to that. I look forward to getting tortured because sometimes with stuff, and he's probably no. If he yes, he listens to my podcast. So if I tell him that, he'll say, "Oh, being tortured? We'll see." Yeah. So
Be
yeah,
careful what you wish for.
yeah, no, he's a good guy, but he's a good coach. He pushes it. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, And sometimes the next day, I really wonder if I'm going to be able to move. So, but
Yeah,
it's
I
so
can relate.
awesome. Yeah, it is so awesome.
Yeah, it's so important. That's really what I underestimate the workout. Move your body, or even though if it's not going to the gym, dancing or
Hmm.
whatever is so important to move yourself, to move your body.
Yes.
And once I started doing that, going to the gym, I felt so much better. I have more energy. Also, I had so much exhaustion and cloudage in my head. It was just these brain fogs, and I just like I'm feeling so much better. I was also addicted to pornography, so that wasn't helping as well.
No.
But once I go to the gym, it was just helping
Hmm.
me so much. It's that
Yeah.
really changed everything for me. Going
Yeah.
to the gym.
The gym is good. And I talk to so many people that think it's for somebody else. And I thought that for a lot of years too. And it's like, no, it's for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
there's pretty much every level, if you're just starting out as a newbie to advanced. And I've seen people as they get older probably wish they had gone to the gym because they're so well, they sat down and never got up again. And it's just like it's worth it. Even if it is all the pain and torture that you go through, it is worth it, especially
That's
for later
true.
on in life. I believe so.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna, especially when you get older, it's so important to keep yourself in shape. And
Yes.
everything started to get hurt. You're gonna move slower, and
Yep.
so it's really really important.
Very, very important. No, and the older I get, the more I realize that.
Yeah.
Well, the other day, Cheryl and I, what we got up, we sat down in unison. We both crackled. We cracked. It's just like I told her, it's like, wow, this is something with marriage when you start cracking and making the same noise when you get up and go stand up and get and sit down. Oh my gosh. So, but at least we're both healthy, and I'm just
That's the
glad.
important thing.
Yep, because I'm glad that Cheryl beat her cancers, and I pray that that continues very much.
Yeah, for me too. I want to talk a little bit more about your podcast.
Okay.
So, how is that going for you? Because also what you mentioned in your journey with us, how difficult it was for you to start. What were your low points and high points with your podcast?
Oh, low points was I didn't vet people before I had them on the podcast. I had a couple of guests. They were thankfully it was recorded because if that had been live, oh my gosh, yeah, there was two of them. Thankfully, it's only been that way. I won't even tell you what they were like, but they were but yeah, and then not having people, listen to the podcast right off the bat, it's just like, why am I doing this? It's just that still is I would love to have more people, but it's growing. Cheryl, she's like, why are there not more people? And it's like it is growing. I mean, I've had people want to be on the podcast now, which at the beginning I had nobody that came to me directly. That's been kind of challenging to just like, why do I keep doing this? Because and that's like we talked earlier, where I'm trying to get more channels for people to get to know the podcast. But it's getting there. It's a journey. And I think how long it took my handyman business to really get going too. And once it took off, then I couldn't. It's getting there. I had let's see, Friday I had 17 people want to be on the podcast, and I've never had that before. So that was an up day. And but there's still a lot of down days. It's just like, well, I didn't like the way I did that. It's just like I suck at doing podcasting. It's just like, am I ever going to get this figured out? And it's getting there. The positive of it is I get to meet people like you. I get to meet people all over the world. Because if I weren't doing this podcast, we probably would have never met. Maybe we would have. Maybe we'd cross paths. But I've done podcasts. I was supposed to do a podcast on Friday with a gal in New Zealand, but she had to postpone it. But the people that I've done all over the world, it's just been awesome. And a lot of them I get invited to come see where they're at, and nobody wants to come to Nebraska. I don't understand that, but come see some cornfields and cattle. But yeah, I've been invited to Portugal twice, coming up, once this fall, once next spring, which I've never been to Portugal. But and that people are people. People we act like people are different around the world. Which, yeah, we have our own nuances that we have. for our society, what we're doing there. But people, I think deep down, with their heart, they all have, most people, unless you're talking about evil, have the same wants in life. They want to be happy, they want to be loved. And I just think that is really something I really didn't realize before, because I always, and like I think I told you previously that Cheryl and I went to Italy last summer, and I was so surprised how much different than the people were than I had imagined they were going to be like. They were actually really cool people. I really liked it there. But yeah, that has been one of the positives, getting to know people around the world and knowing what they're trying to do to help the world too, and helping them maybe with their podcasts or whatever they're doing in the world. And I have found that podcasters seem to like to collaborate. They seem to like to help each other, and I really, really like that, because I'm not really, as opposed to competition, I really like collaboration better. I mean, it's a win-win. That part I really, really like, and that's something I would love to do. Maybe something with you, Vincent, where we could do something, that would help the world. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that. It just, there's so much need. There is so much need, and I guess maybe I wouldn't have known all the need without doing this podcast. But I think when you did the podcast with me, it wouldn't stop recording. So the technology sometimes gets it gets with the podcasting, but no, overall it's been good. But there has, like anything, there's pluses and minuses. But the pluses way outdo the minuses. Maybe Vincent wants to come to Nebraska.
Who knows someday?
Yeah. Have you been to the United States?
Yeah, I've been to multiple
Okay.
places in the United States, but never
Okay.
to Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah, I can show you my turkeys. My 52
Yeah,
turkeys. So, but no, it's it's just awesome to get to make new friends around the world, and I do,
yeah,
and
totally.
in the process, try and showcase people, help people out. So that's kind of where I'm on that.
Yeah, again, Mark, I really like respect for what you're doing. The thing is also you have such a huge heart and you want to help people, and that's really rare. Just to help people and not get anything in return. Just want to spread the positive. Just
Mm-hmm.
send as much
Yep.
positive that you can and can help people. So that's the reason that I really want to have you on the show,
Thank you.
because you have so much value to offer and you have such a big
That's
heart.
Thank you.
So that was really for me the reason that I want to have you here.
Thank you.
But yeah, you're welcome. And also what I wanted to ask is what is your vision with your podcast? What are the next steps?
Oh, doing lives, definitely doing a lot of lives. Like we discussed beforehand, I've never managed to get one of those to work yet. Um, but doing showcasing people, there was a thing a while back that this gentleman would pick out a name in the phone book and go, have them tell their story. And I believe, like everybody, I believe everybody has a story. And I would just love to go to a city like your city and go and do a podcast with somebody on the street or wherever. Just showcase the people making a difference. Dreamcatcher, show them a way, because some people, you don't know what you don't know. And I really didn't know before I started this journey. Maybe shorten the process of showing people how to catch their dreams and the urgency of doing it. Do it today, not someday or when you retire. But I want to be worldwide. I want to definitely be worldwide. I want to be, maybe have a nonprofit, maybe, but don't know what the entity, business entity would be, but it would be to just encompass on each continent, the Asian continent, European continent, African continent. Just have somebody, I don't know. Do you know Tim Tebow? Do you know him, the football player from? He's kind of somebody. He used to be a football player in the United States, and I like what he's done. He's done these events where he showcases, helps people out that are challenged, and helps them and give everybody a voice. Because there's so many people that don't have a voice or have lost, a voice in society, and possibly writing a book, so or more. I would never have thought ever I would say that, but it's definitely getting more every day. Where it's there. It's just I'm getting that urge to write a book, And I'm not one. I will journal, but to write a whole book is intimidating. But I guess one day, one page at a time. So, but no, I just want to be. I want to be known around the world as somebody who helped. And rather didn't that helped the society, people in general, have a better life, and that people weren't starving or weren't able to get medical attention or whatever it is. The travesties that go on in this world. Going back to that thing, it's my heart. I can feel right here all the stuff that I can feel that, and I have to be very careful that I've had people start doing that, coming to me, especially from Africa, and it's just like I can't help you that way. I have to go through a channel, because if I can't help, I have to be able to still help myself to help you. I have to not want to help everybody directly. I maybe have to set up an organization, not maybe with so many levels. I don't want the bureaucracy of it. Just helping people, and I want to use the podcast, maybe speaking on stages. I maybe not traditional. I would like to kind of do this on stages, maybe have a town meeting kind of, meetings and speaking. I would really like to do that with kids in schools and stuff. I don't know what the schools are like there, but there's a lot of lost kids in the United States. There's just so many, and so many going hungry. In our small town, they started a backpack program because there were so many kids hungry over the weekends because there was no school lunch program. It's all wrong. I mean, there's. I guess I always say somebody should do something about that, and it's like I'm somebody, and it's easier said than done. But yeah, I am somebody. So, but yeah, I have big ideas. Actually, I can see it off in the future. And me being on stage, wow, that would have put that would maybe pass out in school. oh, I would have definitely been. Oh, that would have been very intimidating. Probably wouldn't have done it either. You probably would have had to catch me because I'd probably been running. And
Yeah,
but
probably.
but yeah, I just whatever way I can help people worldwide and get to talk to people, because I find so much. I don't know. I just love talking to people. I just love the banter back and forth, having coffee or whatever, tea or whatever their choice of drink is, and just getting people to open up and say, I'm here for them. I guess I kind of want to just pat everybody on the back and say, working on something, and it's going to be all right.
Yeah, you have a big vision and big goals and big dreams, and that's really important. If you lack purpose and you have nothing to live for,
Yeah,
then life is hard. It's
it
so
is.
difficult.
It really, really is. No, I just hope I live long enough to do all I want to do. So, and then
You're
set
on the right
something
track.
set something up that'll go on after I'm not here anymore. So that vibe has just been put into me so much every day. Talk about where I could burn myself out, because I could do that 24/7. Just to do that. So amazed where I'm at right now. I never ever thought that I would be this way, even going into college. In fact, I had a fraternity brother last night. He's like, "Where's the Mark I knew in college?" And it's like that Mark didn't know what he was, and didn't know he didn't know anything. He didn't definitely know who he was. And he was saying, he's like, "Well, you could be a senator by now." It's like, I don't know if I'd want to go that path, but yeah, I'm definitely changed a lot.
Yeah, you've come a long way. You should be really proud of yourself, Mark,
Thank
for
you.
where you've been and where you are now and the things that you want to do. So yeah,
Thanks.
pat your shoulder because
Thank
you've
you.
doing a really amazing work. So I really want to share that with you.
Thank you. And I hope we do someday get to collaborate with something. I think that would be really awesome. I could come over to where you live.
Yeah, for sure. We can
So
always see if we can do something together.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that'd be so cool. I think we need to time a date and time, maybe in the
Yeah.
future, quite a ways, but sometime in the future. So I think that would definitely, we need to. I don't know do you drink coffee or you drink tea, or what's your choice of drinks?
For me, I don't drink coffee, but I usually drink tea.
Okay, we could have some tea together and brainstorm. So sometime or something like
Yeah,
that.
I will come visit you in Nebraska.
Okay, we have plenty of room, so you're welcome anytime.
Cool.
So I look forward to that.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be really really cool to also meet you in person. So
Yeah, I
I'm
me
looking
too.
forward to setting up a future date to visit you.
Awesome. You probably you better get your ears ready. I can talk your ear off. So, and you know
I'm
I
a
can
good
do it.
I'm a good listener, so
Oh, awesome.
it's all
Thank
fine.
you. I appreciate that. So, no, I will look
So
forward to that.
yeah, me too. So Mark, I wanted to ask you the question. It's not really a question, but more like the tips for the listeners that has been listening to our episode.
Okay.
What advice or three tips that you can give for them to also maybe that they're on the similar life level that we are, like being bullied or being like really shy, introverted, and thinking that I'm not enough. What can you share with the people that are listening?
Just it will be hard to realize, but you are enough. You have something to contribute. We all do. It does, I believe, get better. It may be a very slow process, but I do believe it gets better, especially if you do start putting yourself out there and showing the world who you are. You're an original. God didn't make any copies. You have something to give to the world that just know your worth, and that somebody's waiting for you to hear what you have to say to the world. You might be answering a prayer for somebody, and if you stay quiet, they'll never hear it. Just know you that you belong here. If you're here, you belong here, and God doesn't make mistakes. I'm gonna anyway, but yeah, just know that you're loved. God loves you. Lots of people out there that will, and don't care when you put yourself out there because you can care so much, and everybody's just thinking basically about what you're thinking about them, and as opposed to because I used to think greatly about what I was doing, and I can't have people see me that way or doing that, and just put who you are, genuine who you are. God created you to be to the world because you're an original, and the world is waiting for you. And it won't be easy, probably, to put your voice out there, but just one step. Just start doing one thing. You don't want to overwhelm yourself because if you overwhelm, you may backslide, and which you may backslide anyway. I had times where I it's still a challenge sometimes not to backslide, but we're all going through something, and your vibe kind of attracts your tribe. People that are similar, maybe that have gone through that, will resonate with that, and you'll get to start talking with those people, and it just kind of snowballs that maybe like you and I can change the world. So, but yeah, it's just know you have worth. Don't let anybody bully you and think that they're just easier said than done. Don't let them intimidate you. Just to keep quiet. And that's what I did way too long. And if I had to do it over again, I would never be quiet all those years because all those years I was not being me. And don't take life too seriously. It's easy to do sometimes, especially with all the terrible stuff going on. None of us get out of here alive. It's just I don't know, float, but just don't take life too seriously. It can get serious enough even when you do don't take it too seriously. Just put your heart out there. It may get stomped on, and it will get stomped on. I can tell you that from a fact that it does. But you just come back and just like you were put here with that heart for a reason. God wants you to put that heart out there and show love to the people, love to the world. Just show love. It's all about love. It is. So yeah, I just don't continue to be quiet. Just start. So that's kind of where I'm at. And almost wanting to cry. So I definitely where I'm at. So
Well, it wouldn't matter because it's who you are, Mark, and you have so
yeah,
much again to share, and you're such an amazing guy. And
thank you.
you talk from the heart, and that's really important. I don't see that you're wearing a mask and pretend that everything is okay and beautiful.
Yeah.
You really show how life can be difficult, and you've seen the ups and downs.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
life can be hard, but it's really
Hmm.
how you can become on top of it and really
Yes.
show who's boss, basically. And don't give
Mhm.
up. Don't
No,
give up on your dreams.
never.
Don't give up on your worth or who you think you are or what other people telling you to be. Just trust in yourself, trust in your
Yes.
heart, and do
Yes.
it. Take action, even though it's scary. Take
Yes.
small steps. You don't have to from 0 to 100. Just take small steps, and you're gonna
Amen.
build the skill set and the confidence, and
You
you're
do.
gonna make it one
You will
step at
make
a
it.
time.
Yes, yes, and it is take action. That is where it all comes down to. That's for sure. So, and yeah, if you don't, nothing changes. If nothing changes, if you don't take the action, you're never going to get to even to the next step. Yeah, as hard as it may be to take action, just becomes a non-negotiable. You just got to do it. And some days the non-negotiables are really, really tough. So you just do it. And the more you do it, I believe, maybe the easier it gets. So some days I wonder about that, but just got to do it.
Mark, I really want to thank you for this really insightful, really heartwarming episode. I really want to thank you for being honest, open, and vulnerable. I know you struggle sometimes with sharing
Mm.
and really you feel the emotions coming up, but even though you still are being here, showing your true authentic self and really want to help people. And yeah, again, I have so much respect for you just being here and doing the things that you do. So don't give up and keep on doing the things that you're doing.
Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate you saying that. And I'm honored to be a guest on your podcast. And I look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Absolutely. It's been a blast. So thank you so much, Mark, and take
Thank you.
care.
You too.
Hey Lions, thank you for listening. Glad to have you on our journey to the authentic self. Want to learn more to embrace your potential? I invite you to keep listening. Do me a favor and smash the like and subscribe buttons, as this helps the show reach more listeners who need to hear these messages. See you next time.